Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. As always, Matthew and I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Today's topic is going to be cutting stickers versus buying stickers. You know, I get a lot of comments on stickers because if you're sawing lumber, you're going to need stickers and you're going to need a lot of them. So come right back. I got some things I want to cover, how, why, and we do things. Whether what you do is different, but come right back and we'll get into it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Like I say, today's topic is going to be stickers. If you're sawmilling, you're going to have stickers from now on. It's always going to be something you need, something you use. So let's talk about them. Let me start by saying this. Whatever you're doing for you is fine. I'm here telling you what I do for me and Matthew and what works for us. And if you can glean something from that, then that's a win-win. Now, if you're just cutting green lumber, passing it on to the consumer, and you're done, this may not be quite as important to you. You may flat stack a lot of stuff. I absolutely flat stack nothing. I don't care if one of my local contractors needs 22 befores. I'm going to sticker them, band them, and set them out there. That's just me. I'm not fooling with flat stack stuff. I've been burnt too many times. Oh yeah, I need them. I'll be there first thing tomorrow morning. A week later, hey, your 2x4 is still sitting here. Oh, I'm sorry, that job got postponed. I'll come get them tomorrow. And I've had green 2x4 sitting out here a week molding mildew. So we don't do that. So that just solves that problem. Everything we cut gets stickered, stacked, and banded. I don't care what their end use is. I'm producing a quality product, and I know it's better if it's stickered, stacked, and banded. So we use a mountain of stickers. If you go look in our molding room, we got a bin over there, 4 foot wide, 8 foot tall, split in half, and we keep it full. And we're picky about those stickers because those stickers are kiln dried. They've already been through the process, come back out, and we put them in that bin. And if we're sawing some stuff, like this morning, we didn't use them, didn't think about it. We were finished up a little poplar job, 2 stacks, 8 foot wide. One stack was 15 tall, and I think the one that Matthew just hauled out was 17 tall. That would have been a good stack to use those kiln dried stickers because they're going to sit out here, and in a week or two, they're going through the kiln, and then they're going to come right back, and we can put them in inventory. Now, if you're sawing green lumber, then I don't use my kiln dried stickers. I keep green ones over here. We'll stack that green lumber with green stickers, and customer will take it home, and we'll never see them again. They're gone forever. Over the years, I'd hate to know how many 1x1s, 43 inches long that we have cut. It's hundreds of thousands, if not more of them. But this morning we're out, and I've got to make a choice. Do I want to scavenge some stickers out of the next logs I'm cutting? I really don't, because the next thing we'd cut was probably going to be some white pine, and you'll have to figure that out on your own. When is it a good time to take flitches and make stickers, or something like this? So let's talk about this. These have been sitting here for a week at least. They were actually sitting out here in the way. We sawed a bunch of 8x8 posts for a contractor out of southern yellow pine, and this was the waste off of it. And I couldn't bring myself to do anything with it until we figured out what to do with it, because this is some beautiful wood. Normally I would have made 1x8s out of it, whatever, and put them in a stack and stacked them over, ready to go in the kiln. But we don't have any more yellow pine that we're going to cut for the foreseeable future. The next thing we're going to cut is probably white pine. So they're just going to sit around here in the way. And we need stickers, so Matthew and I made a decision. We're going to sacrifice these beautiful boards to become beautiful stickers. It's better wasting them than putting them in, the throwaway pile. It's just part of it. Now, I make stickers on the sawmill. It's a whole lot quicker. We can make them on the edger, but you can only make one inch cut at a time. And that really slows down the progress. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hey, 16 boards, 8 foot long. We can stand them all up, make a few cuts till we get it clear, and roll it all the way over and cut it right to the bottom. And that's what we're going to do. The actual cutting of the stickers is not what I'm here to film. I'm really here to film the process of thinking about stickers, because you always got to be thinking. And there's a lot of confusion out there, a lot of different ideas. People jump through hoops worrying about sticker staining, and there is times to worry about it, but not when you're sawing pine, not when you're sawing poplar, not when you're going to mold or plane something as a finished product. If you're sawing something high end, then yeah, worry about stickers. Either use out of your kiln dried pile or cut stickers out of the material that you're cutting, and then the same sticker is of the same wood and it won't stain it, okay? Don't lose too much sleep about it. Don't overthink it. Just, it'll be all right. I don't care what you use for a sticker. Sometimes you're going to get a little sticker staining, and that's because you've got a wet wood with a piece of sticker sitting on it, a wet sticker or a dry one, and that creates a little moisture point, and it's there. When you dry that wood and then plane or sand that wood, it'll go right away. Now, if you take a pretty piece of white poplar and you put a red walnut sticker on it, yeah, you're going to get a brown stain. That will happen, Or if you take a pretty piece of white pine and maybe you put a wet red oak sticker on it, you're going to get some red oak staining. We've stacked tens of thousands of board feet with kiln dried stickers, and I've never seen a problem. Have you, Matthew? I mean, once you kiln dry them, put them in that bin, you can use them whatever you want to, and it's perfectly fine. Now, if you're a little anal about it, maybe you make your stickers out of white poplar. You buy some poplar and you just sacrifice it to make stickers. I don't know that poplar would stain anything. There's no tannins in it. There's nothing to bleed out. If it really bothers you, then just keep some poplar around to waste. And that's what we do. Normally, if we need stickers, we'll go out there and find the ugliest log that really is not suited to make lumber, make anything nice. We'll slice it up in boards and make stickers, make it go away. So I hope that helps. If you got any questions on that, please ask. Just don't lose a lot of sleep about it. Good common sense is all you need. If you're kiln drying, save your kiln dried stickers. If you're air dried, by all means, save your air dried stickers and use them again. It saves a lot of cutting, trust me. We put hundreds over there in the corner, and next thing you know, they're empty. We got to put a couple hundred more over there, and they're gone. It's just a recurring thing. Same thing with our dunnage. We keep a pallet of 4x4s out there because you always need dunnage around your mill. The best suggestion I can give you is find a standard that you like. And our standard for stickers is 1x1s, 43 inches long. And that fits all our stacks unless we're doing some kind of slabs that may be abnormally wide. And, then you can just lay 2 stickers offset and cover it, whatever. Same thing with our 4x4s. We found that a true 4x4 is perfect. It gives us enough room to get the tractor under there, get it picked up without damaging the wood. And it allows you, if you can't get a 4x4, to maybe get a 2x4. Just stack 2 of them together, and you got a 4x4. So, enough being said. Let's get these stacked up and get them run, and we'll get out of here. Run out of reach. That's all stickers. Okay, we got them nice and clear now. Start making a bunch of stickers. Okay guys, that got it squared up. I made 3 cuts. One thing I didn't show you was right here on the back side. Sometimes it makes it easier if you can use a sacrificial 2x4. And I set my I set my DCS to do 1/16 all the way to 1.5 inches. I'm gonna leave the bottom with 1.5 inches. And that's for a couple reasons. One, it's not gonna hurt that you got an 1.5 inch wide sticker. And 2, it allows me some meat to grab a hold of that stack. We don't normally do 16 wide. 8 or 10 is acceptable, but we had 16, so we're doing them. Now, next thing we gotta do is haul them all over here to our chop station. If you don't have one, I'd advise you to get one in your sawmill. It's a whole lot safer than a chainsaw and other different methods we've used. The chop station with a little guide block, and you can set them over our chop, slide them over to chop, and they're perfect. So let's get to it. Okay, over here, guys, we just got a simple little chop saw station like you probably got in your wood shop. It got provision to put a dum-dum block over here. We're 43 inches, and that's just makes it simple. They're all consistent length. Just that quick. We've made 12, and we got bunches and bunches more of them to do. So let's back this up, and we're gonna go through them real quick and get out of here. Okay guys, we went through that real quick. That made a mountain of stickers. No, I didn't count them. No, I don't know how many they are because we just do it every day. That's probably enough to run us a couple hours, depending on what we're sawing. If we're sawing 8-foot stuff, we use Matthew's rule of thumb. You take an 8-foot piece of board, cut that in half, that's 4, add 1, that's 5 stickers. So if you're doing a 16-foot log, cut that in half, that's 8, add 1, 9. We use 9 stickers for a 16-foot log, and that ends up with about a 18 to 20 inch spread between each sticker, and that's adequate. Now, if you're doing something real high end, maybe you want to bump that up a little bit, but for what we do, that's our standard. Unless it's something real nice, we may add 1. So, got all these piled up in our corner. This is kind of a collection area. I'm sure you got one in your mill. If we got a good board, we'll stack it there, try to find a use for it. If not, it eventually goes away. Our vacuum system. I don't know if we've ever mentioned that the chop saw is actually attached to our vacuum system, and that's a wonderful thing. Got a catch hole down here all the sawdust goes into. Every now and then I'll take my hand and rake it over towards the hole. That saves a lot of cleanup because you're making stickers, you make a lot of sawdust, and anything we don't have to sweep up is great. We got a little mess on the floor, we'll catch it with a blower and it end up over there when we clean up. So what did we learn? Stickers, you gotta have them, guys. Figure out in your mind how you gonna make this system work, find something that works for you and stay with it. There's nothing wrong with learning, and I'm telling you what I do, and whether you want to use that information is up to you. I don't let people dictate to me with their thoughts what I need to do. Now, I'll watch a video and say, well, that's a pretty good idea. I'm going to try that, and I'll make up my own mind. And that's all I ask you to do with these stickers. Take what we showed you here today, try it, see if it works for you. If it does, go with it. If it don't, keep doing what you're doing. I've learned that here sawmilling. A lot of people have preconceived ideas, and they're going to tell you this wood's garbage, this don't work. like running diesel. I don't argue with people about diesel, because when they tell me it don't work, they just telling me they don't know what they're talking about. We've done it for years, tried everything under the sun, and it works. If you don't want to do it, fine, don't. We do, because it works, and we use very little of it. We're what, 2 or 3 gallons a week most of the time, unless we're sawing something really, really sappy, like some fresh cut white pine around here is horrible. Sometimes some fresh cut yellow pine has a lot of pitch in it, can be horrible. So we don't use much. I don't have to worry about it freezing. I don't have to worry about it rusting my mill. Yeah, it makes a little bit of a mess, but you know what? This mill is a mess. We keep it clean. It's almost lunchtime, and the last thing we'll do is we'll clean this floor up, clean the mill up, get it lubricated, ready to go back to work. So don't worry about it. That was my soapbox for today. I'll get off of it. I hope you found some value in cutting stickers. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. This video, is it before Christmas? This one's come out after Christmas. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope you took time to spend time with your family and get ready for a new year. Man, it seems like we just started this a month ago, and here we are getting ready to roll into 2026. I hope you've had a great year. Matthew and I have. We've been blessed beyond measure. He's had a fun year with Mordecai and getting ready to start out a new year with a daughter. That's a row he's going to hoe that he don't know yet. I can tell him. That's a whole different animal. I love my granddaughters, my grandsons both. Had one yesterday. Had to be pop doctor. Well, my Ruby was flying out the driveway on her bicycle and crashed. That was bad, bless her heart. Tore her finger up. Come in the house looking for Nana, and I'm like, Nana, I ain't here. Come here, let me help you. We washed it, cleaned it up, and then her granny Nana showed up, and her mama showed up, and they bandaged her up. But it happens. You're going to play hard, you wreck hard sometimes. I got scars and nicks all over me from growing up young, playing hard. Anything you can walk away from and learn, it ain't that bad. So, like I say, I hope you had a blessed Christmas and a happy new year. Matthew and I appreciate you watching. We have met and exceeded all our YouTube goals this year, and that's greatly, specifically because of you people watching. I'm overjoyed. I can't tell you enough. Like I say, always big shout out to Matthew and Solomon editing these videos. It takes a lot of load off of me being able to try to do the videos and try to run my business and not get overwhelmed with phone calls, emails, text messages. There's a lot going on, and I'm thankful for all of it. But if you get a chance, check out Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing. We love him beyond measure. If you hadn't heard our song he wrote for us, I'm sure Matthew or Solomon will probably drop it in this video.
Probably not.
Maybe not. If you don't know, Solomon's brother, Aiden Webb, is a well-renowned musician. And I was aggravating Solomon the other day. I said, you and Aiden need to record that just for the fun of it. So maybe something will happen to that. I don't know. We'll see. But as always, shout out to Wood Mizer. We appreciate them. If you need anything, contact Joe Maine. He'll be more than happy to help you out. Sawmills, edgers, kilns, sharpeners, setters, whatever. Blades, he is a blade man. If you got a question about a blade, give him a call. He'll help you out. I think that's going to do it. You got anything, Matthew?
No, not really.
Just Happy New Year. It'll be here before you know it, guys. Take time to enjoy it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.